Hello and welcome to Tuesdays with Nina. We have a fun question today. A 21-year-old young lady is writing to find out what kind of tips do I have for making love with a much older man. He is 55 years old and, as she says, fit. Well, first, have fun. The great thing, I know that everyone's going to think, oh my God, you're a cold digging bitch. Oh, he's such a, the young girl chaser is insecure about masculinity, blah, blah, blah. Don't listen to any of that. The older partner, younger partner combination has a lot to recommend it. Not the least of which is a win-win situation. Most important thing is recognizing that the odds of this turning into a long-term viable romantic relationship are quite low. You're enough different in ages that you're in such different places in your life in terms of life goals, what you've achieved, experienced, that the odds of it being a long-term permanent relationship are pretty low. But that's not to say it cannot be a couple, 3 years of a whole lot of fun for everyone. And people think, well, of course, he gets all the fun. He gets to touch a young body. It goes both ways. My first boyfriend was 21 years older than me. So yours is 30 years older. Who cares? So what does he get? Obviously, he gets access to your sweet young body and your enthusiasm and your newness at the world, and gets to show you all kinds of fun things, and you get to learn all kinds of fun things. He also gets to act as a mentor, which is not a bad thing, and he gets to share what he knows, which as an older person myself who often plays with younger players, is really satisfying to take my experience and use it to help a younger person have a really good time with no weirdness, no strings, no angst, no drama, no bullshit, as the saying goes. If he understands if you both understand the built-in limitations of the relationship, that will allow you to both enjoy the built-in benefits of such a relationship. So yes, he gets access to your hot young body, and your curious mind, and your interest in things, and your probably a lack of being jaded, and you haven't had your heart broken so many times, because people our age, and he and I are in the same age category, we got baggage when it comes to long-term relationships. But that doesn't mean we're no good or we're damaged. We have more baggage than you. You have less baggage. That's all there is to that. And you have the benefit, of course, of being young and energetic. But what does a younger person get out of it? And speaking of someone who was the much younger partner for many years, the younger person gets a lot out of it. A lot out of it. First, honestly, a better class of restaurant. When you're dating somebody in their 50s, they have a job, they have a car, they have a place to live, they've been places, they know things. And we can learn, as young people, grown-up manners, grown-up action, how to be grown up. Because 21, you're barely out of being a teenager, but you're legally an adult. But let's face it, 21-year-olds, we're pretty bouncy, a little bit like a large breed puppy, and is learning how to eat in a nice restaurant and be in a place where there's waiters and all that stuff is really very nice. Learning how to order wine, learning how to peruse a fancy menu. All these are really great life skills, and that benefit us. Secondly, what's the benefit to the younger person? Having a lover who is older, more experienced, and can take his time. Boys our own age at 21, they're eager and all that, but what the fuck do they know? They've only been making love for a couple of years themselves. And so someone who's been making love for 40 years, well then, they'll have learned a couple of things. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. So we can benefit from their experience. We can benefit from the fact that a man in his 50s is in no rush to get to the fucking, because he understands, you know what, plenty of time for fucking. Let's get her nice and warmed up, give her 1 or 2 orgasms. So older men have the ability and the willingness to just hang back and let the show unfold at a more stately pace, which is really great. They're likely to have more cock control. They are likely to, quite frankly, know a couple of things because they've had, a whole bunch of lovers and stuff. So I'm betting that his oral sex, unless he's been married for the same woman for 30 years, the oral sex is going to be good. The intercourse is going to be good. Things to keep in mind at 55. unless he's using Viagra or the other pills, which I'm perfectly okay with, his erection might not be as hard as you expect it to be from someone who's younger. After 50, during intercourse, no matter how hot the person is for you, his erection can come and go a bit. It can get super hard, sort of half hard. If you're still struggling with condoms, that can certainly add something to that. So to be patient with that. He's not going to be able to fuck you 4 times in a night. He's going to be able to fuck you once really, really well. So it'll be quality versus quantity with an older lover. Also with older lovers, it can be, depending on what other medications they may or may not be on, it can delay ejaculation. So his orgasm can be harder to find for him than with a younger person. He'll have more cock control, but sometimes the opposite of that, the corollary to that, is a little harder finding his orgasm. If you're using condoms, that can add another layer of, oh, not quite there. So learning patience on your part. After the first blush of, oh my God, I'm fucking this hot young babe, wears off, he probably won't be wildly horny all the time, unless he's one of those rare guys that at 55 has the sex drive he had at 25. I have met them, which is then, it's a win-win situation. He has the stamina of a 21-year-old with the experience of a 55-year-old, totally a win-win. But even though he's fit, if he's a regular 55-year-old, his orgasms won't be as strong. His erection may come and go unless he's using pills. Again, I'm fine with that. And he won't be necessarily so focused on intercourse. He'll know more things to do, more kissing, more petting, more oral sex. And he'll also likely to be able to withstand a really good blowjob. Often with younger partners, once you get them turned on with the blowjob, they have to fuck you. And they cannot just lie back and let that be the main event. And so an older lover is more experienced and can usually has learned to lay back and enjoy the blowjob, enjoy the moment, and not have to rush through to the next moment. And that's the nicest thing about having an older lover. They've got enough life experience that they can relax already. They can calm down already and just really go with the flow. Know that any lack of response is likely not personal. It is physiological. So that will be good for you to learn patience and not taking it personally if something's not going the way you think it should be going. He'll be more likely able to talk about things and have more insight, emotional insight to what's going on. And also talk with him clearly about not where do you see this going, but affection may develop. That's fine. Love may develop, and that's fine. But I do not recommend falling so deeply in love that you think you have to marry the guy, because then that's a whole different kettle of fish. Again, you're very far apart in age, enough that your life experiences and life needs are completely different. I'm not saying never. It never can happen, but it's unlikely. So treat it like a wonderful summer fling or a month-long fling or a year-long fling, and know that eventually you will part, hopefully friends, and you'll be able to count him as a friend and maybe a booty call forever, and have a really hot, wild, mad, passionate affair. So there you have it. Patience, understanding for any physical limitations he may have a bum knee, he may have hurt his shoulder playing softball, that kind of thing. And but enjoy the companionship and enjoy the intellectual stimulation and enjoy his greater experience as he will enjoy your youthful enthusiasm. Party on. Send your questions to tuesdayswithnina@gmail.com and Miss Victoria will forward them to me. Till next time, have fun.